Welcome to the Lifestyle Property Podcast. I'm Jamie Greaves, your host and professional property investor. I'm here to bring you insights, home truths, and powerful stories about what really goes on in property investment, business, growing your dream lifestyle. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to Lifestyle Property, and welcome to episode 30, which is titled Should You Rent or Buy Your Own Home? And let me explain where this episode has come from. So my podcast is all about helping you, giving you clarity, giving you confidence, giving you insights to help you be a successful property investor and all of the life-changing benefits that will bring. And every now and then we face these big decisions in life, shouldn't we? And this one is not as simple as what it may seem. You may think, there's some assumptions made here which need to be unearthed, really. So I want to share in detail with you today some of the benefits of renting your own home, but also obviously some of the benefits of buying your own home, because as a property investor, we're in a very unique position when making this decision. Very, very unique, because on the one hand, we love buying properties and we know the power of doing so. We know the power of this building our wealth. But on the other hand, we understand money and investment and the opportunity cost of buying. And this is something that I'm doing right now. So I'm making this decision right now, and I've had to do a lot of research on this, and it's hard to find. It's hard to find UK-based information on this, because you get a lot from USA and elsewhere. But all the information I'll be going through today will be UK-based, because every market is different. And I've done a load of research, guys, and I'm going to share it all with you within 20 minutes. So I spend 100 hours. You get 20 minutes, but it'll help you make a decision either now, but more likely in the future. So when you're next looking to move, should you rent or should you buy? Very important. But also any family members or friends who are looking to make this decision now on what's best for them. Okay, so I'm going to go through major reasons for each. And as I'm going through these reasons, pick out which are most important to you. Okay? Because it's the areas that are most important to you, that's what you should make your decision on for you and your family and your lifestyle, really. Because once we understand the kind of the knowledge, that's what it comes down to. So let me get stuck into it. So renting or buying your own home. Okay, so you might not be in this position now, but you will be in this position in the future. You absolutely will be. So why would we rent? Okay, why on earth would we rent our own home? Reason number one of why you'd rent your own home is opportunity cost. The opportunity cost of buying. Okay, so as I was growing my own property investment portfolio, I chose to rent, and the opportunity cost was the main reason. So let me explain this, really. So once you understand investment, can you put your deposit to better use elsewhere? Because there is an opportunity cost of tying up your capital and your money into your own home. So can you grow your money more elsewhere than in your residential house? Now, as a property investor, the answer to this should be yes. It should be a big fat yes, because this is what we do. We grow our wealth, we grow our money through the strength of property. Now, just something to think about is your deposit for your house to live in. Well, that could be the deposit for 2 investment properties. And those 2 investment properties, you can get all the capital growth from 2 properties, for example, and you get all the income from 2 properties and 2 investments. Okay, so have a good think about that. Have a good think about that, guys, because this changes the game. When people say, "Oh, rent is just wasted money," not when we understand money. Some of the most successful people in the world, they choose to rent where they live for this reason. They know that tying up their own cash in their property is not a financially smart decision when you can grow your money better elsewhere. Okay, so if you're making this decision now, so could you put your money elsewhere into a property investment portfolio, into a business, and get a better return? Can you invest? Can you bring forward your retirement age by not tying your money up within a residential mortgage in a residential home? So this is likely the number one reason why, as a property investor, we would choose to rent rather than buy. It's for the opportunity cost of not tying up our money, not just in terms of the mortgage, but having to do any maintenance work and do the money that we put into our own house. Well, could you put that into a property investment portfolio instead? Okay, so that's one reason why. It's a major reason why, actually, and it was the number one reason why I chose to rent early on. Okay, then there's say 3 reasons I've got here, which is just kind of reasons why renting is so popular elsewhere in the world. As if you go to Europe or elsewhere, because it's flexible. So if you're moving to a new place and you're deciding where to live, then rent is perfect. Second is speed. So for anyone that knows my story and has known me for 5+ years, I had to move back, but I chose to move back to Sheffield very quickly when a sick, close family member got sick. So I didn't have time to think. I wanted to get back for them, to look after them. So I jumped into a rental, which was absolutely perfect for me because it was flexible and it was speedy. And in the past 3 years in this rental, I've not spent a penny on maintenance. So none of my money went into the deposit, and I've not had to spend anything. So when you rent, there's no cost. So the boiler breaks, the landlord covers this. So there are some very smart reasons of why renting can absolutely suit us, depending on where we are within life. Okay, and then the fifth and final reason of why renting can be very smart is something that's very, like the first reason, is something that is very focused on us property investors. And it's because it is hard to combine the benefits of property investment with our own home. Okay, it's not a simple and an easy thing to do. Okay, so let me explain this. So when we're investing in property, we don't want to fall in love with our properties, with our potential deals. It's a numbers game. Formulas, not feelings. This allows us to buy properties at great prices, secure great deals, with an openness of what deal that we take on. And that's what allows us to get really, really great deals done. But with our own home, we can't so much do that, guys, can we? Because we do fall in love, and emotions are important of where we live. But we want a deal. So how does that work? And it is a tricky area. So in my own away from business, my own life right now, before I went to Brazil, I made an offer on a house to buy as my own home. Okay, so I see this decision from both sides, because I'm very much looking at both right now. And it was a normal house. It was a 3-bed semi-detached house for around £250,000 in a nice area of Sheffield. So it's very normal. There's better and worse areas down the country. Numbers wise, I was outbid on this house that was on for £250. Okay, I went in a little bit lower than £250. I was outbid by £51,000. Okay, £51,000 because people wanted to live there, and homeowners want to live there, and it's a great area. £51,000 outbid, right? Now, that's because I knew what the house was worth, and I knew what the refurbishment would cost, and I knew what it would be worth then, so I knew what price it would make sense, because I'm a property investor. But this is the real world, and it's a lovely area, it's a nice area, and someone else clearly didn't know those numbers. Okay, and they just wanted to live on that street, i.e. near that school, near that park. And as a property investor, you can't compete, because there is no way I would overpay and tie up my funds. So if you're looking to buy in these nice parts of town, you're going to be up against a lot of competition of homeowners, and then good on them. If they live there for 30 years, they could tie. It's not a financial decision, really. It's an emotional family decision. Good on them. But for these reasons overall, for the fact that it's hard to combine deals, and the flexibility, speed and maintenance of renting, and the big opportunity cost, this is why renting can be very, very smart. Buying can be not a smart investment, not a smart financial decision whatsoever. So long as the big if then is if you put your money to better use elsewhere. If you don't buy a house but waste that money, then that's not the wisest financial decision. But if you put your money to better use elsewhere and you grow your wealth via that, then it's been a very, very smart thing to do by renting. Okay, so podcast over? No, because we want balance, don't we? And we choose what's most important to us. Because they're the big reasons, and there's others, but they're the 5 big reasons why renting works so well for us. Well, how about buying? Because we in the UK, ever since Margaret Thatcher came along, buying's become really, really popular, and everyone wants to get on the property ladder. But what are the benefits of doing so? Because we've just shown that it can not be a very smart thing to do to buy. Well, I suppose firstly, there are non-financial benefits to buying our own home. Okay, away from money, really, because it's when we buy our own home, it's a home, not a house, and our environment is very important. Call it what you will, our zen, our castle. We get to make it our own, to your style and your taste. That's very important for some people. Okay, and if that's important to you, then that's a tick in this category, just like if some of the other factors were a tick in the rental category. So there are some major non-financial benefits and reasons why you wouldn't buy your own home, to get that beautiful environment that you put your own stamp on it. And also, to play devil's advocate to what I mentioned just early in terms of hard to secure a deal, well, if you can get a deal when you buy, then that can be a smart investment. Okay, if you can get a good deal. So for example, if you can buy it discount, or you can add real value to your own home, then we can combine the non-financial benefits such as our own environment and our stamp and our zen and our castle with the financial benefits of property, i.e. when we're adding major value or buying at discount. But just note that this is not easy to do with their own home, because we'll likely overpay and we'll likely overdo the refurb. But it's possible if you choose what's more important to you. Is it environment and house, or is it money? Because that might dictate what area you live in and what type of house you buy. So on all these things in life, we choose what's most important to us. Okay. A third reason why we buy rather than rent is the area. So if it's important for you to live in the best area, well, it can be best to buy there often, because rents in these parts of town can be just not make financial sense. And we all whatever town, city, village you're listening to from, we all know those. And the better parts of town, tree laden, best schools, best parks, best amenities. But the rent there could be so high because there's not much rental stock and people want to live there. So actually buying can get you into those beautiful areas. So if that's important to you, the area in which you and your family live, and it can be particularly this is why a lot of people buy homes just before having children, because it's important to them what school they go to. Well, that's where buying them starts to make, I wouldn't say financial sense, but starts to make lifestyle sense there. Okay, when it's to get in the best areas of town, it can be much easier to do when we buy rather than when we rent. Okay, so we can see how there's a really strong reason for both of these things, guys, and it's whatever's best for you and your family. And fourth, I'm going to rattle through these for you. Fourth is the financial benefits. So there are some, and I'm talking about UK kind of tax benefits now. Also, firstly, away from tax, if we are buying a house or an apartment in the best part of town, that will likely have really strong capital growth. And capital growth is a real wealth builder in property. So if you can be smart where you buy and what you buy, then you get the benefit of capital growth, which is amazing within property. So that's great. But also, our own home is very tax efficient. It's very tax efficient because we don't pay, if we were to buy our own home and then move on, we don't pay any corporation tax or capital gains tax on our own home. Okay, so a lot of people have done this very successfully, where they've traded up. This is a tip for you. If this is important to you, you can trade up. So you can start out in a smaller house that needs some work, Okay, and it can make it a very tax efficient, profitable flip. So you move in there, you do it up, you add value, you then sell. And then if it's your own home and sell, that there's no capital gains tax to pay on that, and then you trade up to your next house. It's a lot more tax. So if you were doing that within investment property, i.e. flipping, then you incur more fees because the stamp duty is a lot higher when it's an investment property rather than your own home. And although, and I say there is tax, there is then either corporation tax or capital gains tax to pay. But if you know your way around accounting, then you can minimise that corporation tax wise. But still, it's a very tax efficient thing to do when it's your own home, but the stamp duty is lower, and importantly, there's no tax when you sell. But there's a flip side to that as well, isn't there, guys? Because that means living in a building site. Okay, so some people would love the project side of things, some people would hate it. So again, choose what's more important to you. I just exercise caution there. Don't go too big, it's because we want to enjoy our lifestyle along the way. And then, so fifthly and lastly, in terms of reasons to buy, could be the interest rate at that time. And this is something to consider. This is as property investors, as we're making these decisions, what's the interest rate? So when interest rates are low, and when we can lock in for say 5 years, well, it can make mortgages very cheap. And when there's readily available access to capital as well. So if you can, if at the time of buying you decide, well, if I get 90% loan to value residential mortgage, not put much money in, and the interest rate is low. Right now in the UK, I'm recording this in March 2025. It's around about 4% for residential homes, give or take. That's decent. So this right now, okay, that's a tick in the buy box. I mean, 4 years ago when interest rates were 1.52%, it's almost a no-brainer there in terms of, well, we get all the capital growth there, but we're really minimising our interest costs. But vice versa, in times of high interest rates, it can be more economical to rent. Okay, because if the mortgage is going to be too costly, not only is that going to tie up our funds with regards to the deposit, but that's going to minimise our ongoing cash flow that we could otherwise invest and grow our wealth. So it's always a good exercise to look at what the interest rate is at that point when you're making this decision. And that wraps up the major reasons why you'd want to buy rather than rent. So let's recap, guys. Okay, so let's recap the big reasons and choose what's most important for you and your family next time you make this decision. So reasons why we'd rent are the opportunity cost of buying. Okay, what you could do with that money, the flexibility it gives you, and the speed it allows you to move into an area. You're not paying any maintenance. And it can be hard to find a good deal when you're combining it with your own home. Okay, but on the flip side, there are some amazing non-financial benefits when we get to buy our own home. You can possibly get a great deal as well. It will get you into the best areas of town. There can be highly tax-efficient ways of trading up. And when interest rates are low, they can be cheaper than mortgages. Let's bring this to a conclusion. It's fair to say we can make a very strong case for either you renting your next home or you buying your next home. The important thing to do is choose what's most important for you. What's best for you in this present moment, and that will change over time. And the key thing is now you've got the knowledge of the pros and cons, and stay open-minded. Don't see rent as just wasted money. Many Europeans and around the world happily rent because there's an opportunity cost when we buy. Because what else can you do with that deposit funds? What else can you do with that additional cash flow, not paying your own maintenance and upkeep of your own house? Okay, so the opportunity cost means that don't feel bad if you rent. Renting could be a very, very smart thing to do. Many of the world's most successful people do so for that reason. But also, if we're going to buy smart, ideally. So, and then use the power of property investment if you are keen to buy. So ideally buy below market value and or add value. And then you can enjoy some of the softer benefits of owning your own home and making it your own and putting your own stamp on it. And it can be highly tax efficient in doing so. Particularly if you're happy to trade up and live somewhere for 2-3 years and trade up, it can be a very tax efficient, smart way of doing it. So there we have it, guys. Bit of a different podcast for you, but one that will, I'm sure, bring you value and help you. If not now, they'll help you in the future. So I hope you've taken value, taken notes. Don't compare yourself to your friends or your family or other people. Focus on you and what's best for you and your family. The comparison is the thief of joy, like I covered previously. Okay, so I hope it's been really, really helpful for you. Any questions, reach out to me. Have a wonderful week. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Lifestyle Property Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you could leave us a review so we can reach and help more people. I'll also be giving one person who leaves a review a free family holiday to one of our luxury holiday lets. Thank you, and see you next time.